Do you also feel tired, exhausted, maybe even dizzy at times, and sometimes even have a little bit more trouble concentrating? This is due to the fact that the pace of development in the evolution of humanity, especially this year, has indeed significantly increased, and we constantly have to adapt. And what this means for you personally or for our society is what I will address here. It's a very exciting topic, so stay tuned. My name is Ralph Riedel. I have been following the shamanic path for almost 20 years, initiated in the tradition of the Incas and the tradition of the Blackfoot. And we are living in a very special time that is now accelerating even more. And in addition, we will be confronted with special days this year, the so-called portal days, during which our consciousness opens more and more to the other world, making us very receptive to insights from other dimensions or enabling us to make significant leaps in our consciousness. And what does consciousness even truly mean? It doesn't in fact actually refer to the mind and the associated worldview, but rather to your heart consciousness. This means that through these cosmic influences, we are practically forced to go more into our hearts, to feel what is truly present at the moment, and perhaps also to perceive that there is a higher truth than the one known by the mind. Yes, and unconsciously, through this increase in vibration, we also have access to higher truths and can much more quickly perceive when someone wants to manipulate us or when something doesn't quite correspond to the truth, and we see through it all much faster. And it may also be that your worldview, which encompasses your beliefs, values, and understanding of the world, gets shaken up, causing you to feel disoriented and uncertain. You might find yourself facing the harsh reality that things operate in a manner quite different from what you previously thought or assumed. That's just how it is, an inevitable part of life and growth. And through this increase in vibration, by enhancing your awareness and understanding of the world around you, you can perceive other things and thereby gain deeper insights in unimaginable ways, which can gradually form a new perspective and a new worldview that no longer corresponds to the old one. Yes, this can lead to many changes for relationships and on a larger scale at the government level. Since everyone is talking about consciousness now, I want to share an image with you. Imagine that the consciousness you currently possess is definitely similar to a cheese dome, like a cheese dome. And you only perceive what is indeed within this cheese dome. And this cheese dome also truly represents what you actually believe, which is also your reality. And when your consciousness is elevated now, you leave this cheese dome and it is replaced by a larger cheese dome where you can have completely new possibilities, new abilities, and new perceptions. It may be that you can be catapulted out of your old life, or that you can no longer relate to the superficialities of your previous life in various aspects and circumstances, substantially, depending on how much this changes for you. Or it may also be that you can no longer cope with all the grievances, the harsh truths, or the injustice, because you are indeed even more triggered, having become more sensitive due to your heightened consciousness. So, what do I actually mean by heightened consciousness? Elevated consciousness is not like another consciousness. One vibrates at a higher frequency. And thus, everything is connected with love and details. Love for oneself, with all the unique quirks and flaws, and love for nature and creation in all its forms, to then perhaps realize that you are part of something greater, that you are permeated by all-encompassing love, of which you are also a part. And this realization brings a profound sense of belonging and purpose. Due to these influences, I feel that many people, more and more people, are opening up more and more channels. And as a result, we are all challenged because the body always has to catch up. So the body is constantly rebuilding itself more and more. This now actually means that new nerve cells are being formed and new synapses are being created. We will also be able to release heavy energies like fear, anger, sadness. So all the heavy feelings that we can let go of piece by piece, but of course we have to confront them first. And it can be that all of this indeed exhausts and challenges us at first. It's a very normal process that we might often feel tired and maybe even find it hard to concentrate because our whole body constantly has to constantly adapt. And that costs a lot of energy. Specifically, my recommendation is that you give yourself enough rest periods, that you learn to be gentle with yourself, and most importantly, that you pay attention to the new insights and realizations you receive and the new beliefs associated with them, giving yourself time to let it all sink in. Then, piece by piece, gradually and step by step, a new worldview can form where you can increasingly live according to your values, which can also change significantly and profoundly during this time. And especially on the portal days, that is, on the 16th and 18th of June, the veils to the other world, and thus our access to the other world, are particularly thin, indeed, in fact. And our consciousness is certainly even more receptive to new messages, new insights or ideas that you might definitely truly have, or even a shift in consciousness that occurs as a result. And especially during these portal days, when the veils to the other world are particularly thin, you should pay special attention to the messages you receive, how you might want to continue to shape your life, and what you can learn from it. And from my perspective, it goes even further, and even deeper, and even more profoundly. And with that, I would like to ask you a very important question. What do you truly believe humans are actually capable of when they have fully developed all their potential and abilities? If you seriously and thoughtfully ask yourself the question and really delve into it, what honest and truthful answer would you give yourself? What is humanity truly capable of achieving in the grand scheme of things? What abilities does he have? And if we delve deeper into this, many people always talk about the evolution of humanity, and it is about this question: what is the evolution of humanity? This means that humanity is evolving from the old human to a new human, one who has more potential, or whatever you want to call it, with far more abilities and depth than the human they were before, and that is evolution. Or perhaps we can adapt and adjust even better to the conditions of this earth in various ways. Indeed, because we are currently dealing with and being confronted by significant increases in vibrations. And many cannot imagine from their old consciousness, similar to a cheese dome, what humans are truly capable of, because we only have the consciousness of this old cheese dome, with deeper understanding indeed, more deeply. And to truly grasp that, we would also indeed need to have a truly elevated consciousness here. And to give a few examples of what I have already researched and in some cases experienced regarding what humans are capable of, and to provide several different instances. For example, the ability of telepathy, which is the transmission of thoughts, and the ability of telekinesis, which is moving objects without touching them. Or even contact with other dimensions, that they actually speak with other dimensions, as if we were having a conversation. Yes, and also contact with other worlds, as well as the activation of self-healing powers, which can allow them to extend their lives so significantly that they may live well beyond 300 years. Or also have the ability to nourish themselves from light, that is, to nourish themselves from pure energy, without relying on physical food. Or they can manifest things seemingly out of nowhere, almost like magic. Whatever they wish for, they can manifest directly, without any delay or hesitation. And then they have a constant connection with universal love and compassion, with universal omnipotence and omnipresence, and they are constantly resting in this incredible and awe-inspiring divine and sacred presence. They are not bound to the dual world. They use the dual world, but they are not bound to the dual world. Yes, and these abilities are already possessed by people on this earth. And the question now would be, what if everyone, or at least a lot of people, could do this? How would the world really change then, detailing how it could affect social interactions, economic structures, and day-to-day activities? And that's exactly what we're heading towards. This means that the evolution of humanity favors the whole process, so that with the increase in vibration, our heightened consciousness, our access to our hearts, and this connection, whatever may come from it, we have the opportunity to create things that we can't even imagine in our current bubble. And for that, we simply need the courage to leave our old bubble of consciousness and let go of what holds us back, so we can become much greater than we can currently imagine. This reminds me again of the image of the caterpillar turning into a butterfly. That is the symbolic image for it. Naturally, we are used to living our lives as caterpillars. We only know eating, sleeping, growing, and basic sustenance. And now we are currently exactly at or already right in the middle of this pupation stage. One is more in, the other less. One might come out, already emerging, unable to fly on where you are, based on your feelings. And if we learn to spread our wings now, to truly soar into higher states of consciousness, to be able to maintain this lasting state of consciousness and then gradually integrate it into our society and every type of relationship in various aspects of our lives and in our daily interactions with others in a way that is harmonious and beneficial for all. Maybe it will be like this. Perhaps instead of greeting each other with "How are you?" we might eventually greet each other like the Queros from the Andes, who say, "How does the energy live in you?" So the fact that we all handle energy and our own vibrations so naturally that it is completely normal in our daily lives, just like other everyday things, that it is simply fully integrated and seamlessly as part of our existence. But until that time comes, all those who are currently on their path and moving in this direction are the pioneers, showing others that it is indeed possible to live completely genuine and authentic lives with an elevated spiritual awareness. Connect with like-minded people who share your interests and passions as often as possible, so that you also feel that you are completely normal during your growth and overall development. Because many people feel the same way you do, and feel free to comment below if you feel the same. Together we can stand up for our new values much more easily and effectively, which are certainly not the same as those currently demonstrated by those in power and collectively. Yes, in this regard, I wish us all a lot of success on one hand, but above all, a lot of love, which we already carry in our hearts, but which we need to learn to let shine again and to listen to more, so that we can learn to turn down the volume of the mind a bit and turn up the volume of the heart a bit, so that we can feel again where the path is indeed leading us. Truly, this is very important. Because our heart indeed understands much more than our mind, and our heart is also actually much stronger. It has already been measured that many more impulses are sent from the heart to the brain than the other way around. So our heart controls our life and also our mind. And now we must learn again to listen more to our hearts. Yes, and those were my thoughts on this topic. And if you definitely enjoyed this video, feel free to forward it to others or share it with your friends and family. And if you want more insights or a glimpse into my daily routines, just follow me on Instagram. The link is in the description below. See you next time. Ciao. Goodbye.